Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here in Warzone 2, we have a pretty competitive meta. We've already gone through and broken down and ranked every single gun in the game. And today I wanted to break down the top 10 best weapons / the best loadouts you want to be running right now. So this first loadout consists of the TAQ-V battle rifle. This is a fully auto battle rifle by default, and in my opinion, the strongest one of them all. Kind of the most tricky to use in a way because this does have a decent amount of recoil. You have to get used to that, but after you do, the thing just melts. This is a mid-range beast. Now, before we break down the attachments to this, I do want to run through the secondary perks and equipment. This is going to be the same for all the loadouts today. Yes, it's boring like that because these are really the best options in my opinion. For the secondary, I use the P890 pistol. I actually run this akimbo. For what it's worth, I feel like you could run basically the same setup on the X12 or even the X13 and they'd all work really well. This is just what I prefer for my playstyle. Like I said, I use the akimbo option here, so I got two because two is always better than one in this case. The 1 milliwatt laser to help out with that hip fire. I use the DX90F muzzle. This is going to keep me off the compass, but also help out with some of that velocity and visual recoil, even though there's not much when you're hip firing. I do tune this for max smoothness because ADS doesn't matter, but then also max velocity as well. I got the Bruin Express trigger for that better fire rate. I tune that for, again, max smoothness and the best sprint to fire speed. Then I also throw on the 12 round mag there as well. I run the stun and the drill charge for my equipment here. Stuns are obviously going to slow enemies down. The drill charge can help deal with campers and force players out of certain positions. Then I use the Vanguard perk package. This comes with double time, bomb squad, resupply, and high alert, even though that doesn't seem to work. Honestly, most of these suck. I would love to use overkill, but just the perks here, spotter and survivor with the overkill perk package, not it at all. So we're not using any dual primaries here. We're always going for that secondary, but frankly, you can always buy a second primary. You can find one on the ground. It's super easy. But for the TAQ-V here, like I said, this thing is meant for mid-range. Outside of mid-range, the recoil is not going to be practical, but mid-range and closer, this thing is unreal. It is so strong. So I got the Chrono Mini Pro here. That's your basic blue dot. I tune this for slightly better flinch resistance, and for the max eye position, the furthest eye position, I do that on every optic. As far as ADS versus flinch, you can really tune that to your liking. If you feel like you're getting shot back at and a weapon has too much flinch, tune it for flinch. If you want that super fast ADS, tune for ADS. That one is more so preference based. I don't think there's necessarily a best option there. I also got the Precision 6 barrel here for the best range and control. I'm tuning this for max recoil steadiness and max damage range. I got the Polar Fire S muzzle. These are the suppressors I'm always going after, the ones that have only 2 cons that hurt your stability and your ADS, because you can gain that back if you need. These are going to be the most beneficial and have obviously the least amount of drawbacks on a setup, right? So that's super convenient. I tune this for max recoil smoothness, which, as True Game Data has tested, helps out a very small amount with recoil, but same deals with the optic. If you want to tune this for faster ADS instead, because smoothness is not having a huge impact on your recoil, you could absolutely do so. Totally comes down to preference there. What's important though is tuning for max velocity there. I got the Lock Grip Precision, which is going to help out with recoil steadiness, which is all general control, alongside aim walking steadiness, and I go ahead and I tune that for faster hip walking speed and the max ADS speed. Then lastly, this thing comes stock with 20 rounds, so I like the 30 round mag on there. Just helps out for more squad fights. Now at number 9, I've got the EBR-14. The only drawback of this thing is that it takes sniper ammo, so you got to be mindful of that, but this thing brings the power. Mid-range, it's like a 3 to 4 shot kill. If you are accurate with this thing, you are going to erase squads like it is nothing. It is wild how dominant and how strong this thing is right now. So I use the Schlager 3.4 times optic. This is basically like a VOK sight or a T-pose sight. I really like it. This is obviously much more preference based than most other attachments. So if you like the VOK 4 times, if you like a different optic more, use that, but this is the optic that I use for all of my medium and long range weapons. Again, I go ahead and tune this for slightly faster ADS and max eye position, or the furthest eye position there. 15 round mag, you could also go for 20. It's going to be a little bit slower, but either of those are pretty necessary. 10 rounds is just not enough. I go for high velocity, which is a cheat code because it can actually be tuned for more damage range and better velocity. It's not much, but it's a little extra something on there, and it has really no real cons, honestly. So that's super convenient on there, and I use that on pretty much all my ranged weapons as well if I can. Polar S muzzle on there, again, tuned for slightly better ADS and max velocity. Then I go for the Boremaster barrel to help out with that control and that range and that velocity, tuned for slightly better steadiness, and then also max damage range as well. This one takes a bit more skill than some of the other weapons on this list, hence why it's a tad bit lower, but it's still a beast. In number 8, I've got the Lachmann sub, aka the MP5. For close range, this is one of your best options in the game, a top tier choice for sure, as we've talked about previously. Great mobility, really good TTK, low recoil as well, so even in some mid-range fights you can actually hold your own with this thing. Here I'm going for the Cronus grip first and foremost. This is going to help out with flinch resistance, but really I'm here for the tuning pros of the better sprint to fire and the faster ADS. I also go for the 40 round mag. You definitely need that for, you know, duos, trios, and quads compared to 30, so that's nice and convenient. I do use a muzzle on here. The RR40 suppressor here is going to obviously again keep you off the compass, help out with that range and that velocity, smoothen this a little bit, not really going to do much for you there, but I tune this for max ADS and better velocity as well. If you wanted to, you could maybe drop that and run, like, let's say the overpressured rounds and give more flinch for enemies and tune that for range and velocity. Necessarily, I don't think you need 5 attachments on this thing, but this is what I'm rolling with currently. The 12-inch barrel for better range and velocity. It's going to be slower, but we tune this for a better aim walking speed, so it's going to strafe a little faster, and for max ADS as well. Then I go for the 7 milliwatt laser. This will help out with that ADS and that sprint to fire, so this thing is still nice and snappy for close range, but also is versatile as well. And number 7, we've got the STB556, the AUG rifle version in this game. This thing for, again, mid-range fights is phenomenal. I'm not really using this for long range. Its damage is not incredible there. This is meant for mid-range, maybe some sniper support, if you will. Can even hold its own in some close range fights as well. We're basically building this for no recoil because it's going to hit hard, and when we're accurate like that, our TTK realistically is going to be really competitive. So blue dot on here yet again, tuned for slightly faster ADS, furthest eye position, 7 milliwatt laser to give you that slightly faster ADS speed. The rear guard barrel, which is already going to be the largest barrel here, better for range, better for velocity. We're going to tune this for better steadiness, then also max damage range. We got the Echoless 80 muzzle, which is basically the same suppressor that we're using, just with a different name. It only hurts your ADS and your stability, and we tune that for, again, slightly faster ADS and max velocity. You could go for smoothness if you so wanted to. Then I go for the 42 round mag. 30 I don't feel like is super sufficient. I'd love to use high velocity here, but we kind of need that larger magazine. By the way, as we are going through all the class setups today and all the loadouts, if you guys are new to the channel, around 60% of viewers watching are not already subscribed. So if that's you and you want to guarantee you are up to date with the latest news and updates, but also the best loadouts, the best tips to help you improve, this is your one-stop shop for that. We are super close to 900,000 subscribers. Every single day there's like 700 to 1,000 new subs joining the channel, so we'd love to have you guys join us on the road to 900k, and you can always guarantee you're up to date with all things going on in COD by subscribing. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Let's try and aim for 3,000 likes on this one. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Gamer Advantage. This is the perfect holiday gift, my friends. It is going to help you sleep better at night. It is going to reduce your headaches and your eye strain. It's going to allow you to be more efficient, more productive. If you are looking at screens for long periods of time, whether you're gaming, working, doing school, whatever the case may be, these are game changers. If you ever want to pick up a pair for yourself, they offer prescription or regular lenses, plenty of different frame options, and if you throw in code IMMORTAL at checkout, you'll get a nice little discount. The link for those will be down in the description below. Moving on into number 6, we've got the Kastov 7.62, the AK-47 rifle variant here. Slow but heavy hitting. This thing for medium and long range is a powerhouse. It's going to shred through any tier of armor, tier 2, tier 3. You're going to be able to knock players and knock squads out with this thing like it is nothing. Again, we got the Schlager 3.4 times optic on here, tuned for a slightly faster ADS and that furthest eye position. We got the 40 round mag on here. Again, I don't feel like 30 is super sufficient for duos, trios, quads. I'd love to have the high velocity rounds here, but the recoil on this gun is a bit more noticeable than others, so I do swap out high velocity for the lock grip precision underbarrel. Again, here we're tuning for the faster ADS and the faster hip walking speed, while also getting that better recoil control out of the base pros as well. Polar Fire S muzzle here again is doing the same thing as all the other ones we're using, tuned for slightly faster ADS and that max bullet velocity. And then we go for the 584 barrel for the best range control and velocity, tuned for better steadiness and max damage range on there as well. So this thing's going to be perfect as that long range primary. At number 5, I've got the Kastov 74U now. So the AK-74U rifle slash SMG basically. This is meant for close range. That's where this thing really thrives. Outside of that, it's not super useful, but for close range, it is almost unbeatable. This thing is so consistent up close. So we're going for good control and good speed here basically. We got the 45 round mag. We want that extended mag for duos, trios, quads yet again. The Demo X2 grip's going to help out with control, and I go ahead and I tune this one for a faster ADS slightly in that max sprint to fire time, so that way we're nice and fast. Olay laser for that faster ADS and faster sprint to fire yet again. We got the B209 barrel. This is going to help out with movement speed and ADS. Then I go ahead and tune this for better range and better recoil. Now, if you wanted to make this super fast, you could tune for faster ADS as well. That's certainly an option on there. And then lastly, we got the Echoless 80 suppressor on there, yet again tuned for slightly faster ADS, and then that max velocity as well. You could also go for stability if you wanted to. Test around and see what feels right for you. For close range, I don't feel like stability is super important, so we can help out with some velocity there, make that hit reg feel a little bit more consistent. Number 4, we got the powerhouse, the RAAL LMG. This thing could be number 1 if it just wasn't so darn heavy. This thing is slow, like there's no getting around that. The reload sucks and the movement sucks, but the TTK is so good. Over range, it is unbeatable. If you are landing your shots with this thing, you are going to absolutely decimate everyone. So again, Schlager optic on here, tuned for that slightly faster ADS furthest eye position. I think you could run the Stip 40 grip if you wanted to and maybe just tune that for a slightly faster ADS, but truly I feel like the Dune underbarrel here is going to help out with control a lot. Again, recoil steadiness on there. You can go ahead and tune this for better stabilization and for better stability as well, so that you're going to consistently land shots over range. High velocity on here, yet again tuned for max range and max velocity. The Nil Sound 90 muzzle is the suppressor that's going to do the same thing as all of our other ones here, tuned for a slightly faster ADS and the best velocity. And then we got the Demo Field Pro barrel, largest barrel in this case, best velocity, control, and range, tuned for max steadiness and max range on there as well. You got to get used to how slow this is, but once you do, you are going to dominate. And number 3, we got the FENNEC, the best close range option in the game. This thing's damage per mag, not great. Even with the 45 round mags, you're going to be reloading a lot, but when you land shots close range, you are going to melt. Players, unless they also have a FENNEC, do not stand a chance when you are fighting close range. That's just how good the TTK is here. So we want obviously a pretty speedy build here that's going to still be consistent. So I got the rubber grip on here for that better sprint to fire and ADS. I tune it for a little bit better recoil and max sprint to fire. 45 round mag is a must have. I go for the overpressured ammo here. I mean, there's not really much else we can use here once we have all 5 attachments on here. If you wanted a red dot sight or a blue dot sight, drop overpressured and throw on an optic. That's preference based though. I tune these for max range, max velocity. You're not going to get a ton out of that, but it's something. And I like the iron sights, so like I don't really have anything else to build on here. 7 milliwatt laser, faster ADS, faster sprint to fire. Then I go for the covert force barrel. This is built-in suppressor, so it'll help out with that. Also the range and velocity. I tune it for the faster ADS and a slightly faster strafe speed. So this thing's snappy. This thing is gonna melt up close. And number 2, I got the TAQ-56, aka the Scar rifle. Low recoil, great damage over range. The best rifle in the game, in my opinion. Hands down. We've talked about this one several times already. Here we're going again for the Schlager 3.4 times tuned for better ADS, furthest eye position. We got the 40 round mag on here, 30 again, just not really enough for my duo, trio, and quad gameplay style. High velocity tuned for max range and max velocity. The Tundra barrel for the better range velocity, and control tuned for better steadiness and max range. And of course the Echoless 80 suppressor on there, slightly better ADS, max velocity for that tune. This thing wildly consistent. And then at number 1, as we've talked about previously, actually in its own dedicated video, the RPK. The best TTK over range when it comes to how easy and how versatile this thing is. Low recoil, so you're going to land shots consistently. It also is not as heavy as the RAAL. It is just an absolute beast in basically every single category. So here again, Schlager 3.4 times, better ADS, furthest eye position. We got high velocity on there for the max range, max velocity tune. We got the lock grip precision underbarrel yet again for the better hip walking speed, faster ADS, and of course the basic recoil steadiness it's already offering. Polar Fire S muzzle or suppressor on there, better ADS and max velocity tune on that. Then lastly, the 597 barrel, which is already going to help out with that range, that velocity, the movement speed as well, which is kind of nice. Then we tune for better control, and then also max range on there as well. This barrel does hurt the control, but we gain it back so much in other ways that it's really not a huge deal. And frankly, the other barrels just aren't worth using. So this thing, by far my favorite gun and by far the best meta gun in the game as of right now. That being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel and you want to guarantee you're always up to date with the latest news, updates, loadouts, tips, everything going on between Warzone 2, MW2, and DMZ, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Join us on the road to 900K. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.